Hello cinema lovers, welcome back to Rogue Cinema channel. Indian period dramas slash biopic movies reflects the grand and grim side of South Asian history. These cinematic tinkers take viewers back to a range of eras from Mughal-era, Colonial era, modern history and many more. Regardless of setting, they manage to give us peek into some of the most interesting and contrasting chapters of India, along with the insightful discourse of some of the prominent figures of past. This week we have one of such biographical political movie in our nearest theaters, Emergency. Emergency is a new Indian Hindi language biographical political film directed and co-produced by Kangana Ranaut, based on the Indian emergency. It stars Ranaut as former Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi. Emergency is released this week. Let's find out the vital overview. Direction. Kangana Ranaut as an actor is a gifted talent with such a strong convention for almost any role. However, as a director it appears there's still a long way to go. First half of the movie suffers with aimless order of what director is trying to cement. Scenes are transformed from era to era without solid glue to create an organic transformation. Various events between 1966 to 1977 are sewed up in first half without clear motive or any precise expedition towards future. Emergency is hindered by its overly dramatized approach and one-dimensional portrays. It's sort of weird how exactly director allowed thirsting dramatic song picturization during monumental events like important rallies throughout country or Bangladesh war. However, in second half the film bounced back with better alignment of events, maybe because there were lesser calendar periods to cover in second half. Perhaps it was better idea to give direction chops of emergency to some seasoned director rather than Kangana herself. Acting. Anupam Kher and Shreyas Talpade are good, but confined to limited scenes, that too with abrupt breaking from one scene to another. Maima Chaudhary and Milind Soman were authentic in carrying both the looks and sentiments of that time. Substantial surprises with Shak Nair as Sanjay Gandhi, the embodiment of arrogant, spoiled, and self appointed ruler from Next Generation Gandhi Family Guide, was admirable. But the champion of the movie is Kangana Ranaut as Indira Gandhi. It won't be wrong to say that despite an incredible talent Kangana is, yet she's struggling to register a sterling movie either critically or commercially post Tanuved's Manu returns. Audience are waiting to see the magic she created in the first decade of her debut. We had a strong belief that Kangana's craft and endowment is much more than the ramification of Manikarnika, Panga, Thalaiva, Tejas, or Dhakar. And Kangana proved us right here. Without a doubt, Indira Gandhi in Emergency registered as one of her all-time greatest performances. The prosthetics, the mannerism, the language, everything is a Xerox of Indira Gandhi archives, especially in the second half. It's delight to see her walking and embracing both the uniqueness and attributes of former Prime Minister so well. In one particular scene, when she sees people celebrating the death of her son on road, and the deep ache in her boiled out to the surface through the fissures in this strong woman's emotional armor was absolutely brilliant. Script, screenplay, and editing. The script part of Emergency is reasonable and tried its best to be true to the source material. However, the screenplay suffers from the lack of proper order in knitting the various timelines with clear and organic storytelling. Politicians are ruthless and calculative creatures, and it is necessary to give ample time in showcasing their motives and behind the vital scene discussion to peddle stories which are marked as vital history today. Emergency brutally lacks that. My biggest complaint with Emergency is missing the street part of that dark chapter, that how the nation, streets, and households were behaving or holding to that blunder. We all know how jails, press, and police were operating in many narrations and interview, but the streets recreation was not covered much. Editing suffered from the same fate. Despite a decent runtime of 146 minutes, the screenplay and editing couldn't allow the events to have their own breath and keep on jumping to next frame within 70 to 90 seconds. I'm sure that audience would have loved to see the depth in the action and reaction or backstory part with 10 or 15 additional minutes in many frames. Dialogues. The dialogue department hasn't done anything exceptional in emergency. 70s was the era of heavy words, heavy slogans, long debates, and big articles by bigger names. In that contrast, the dialogue team had done mediocre job in writing. Technical work, sound and cinematography. The cinematography of Emergency is good, but one major flaw is found in both first and second half is the frames. There are too many close-up shots in movie despite such a long series of numbers of outdoor events. We know and we admire that Kangana has killed it with both performance and embodiment part, but you need to establish her correlation with other people and external situation too. And that need to capture and match her expression at the same time with the other point of views. The sound, music, most of the Hans Zimmer's Dark Knight type score can be found in emotionally elevated scenes, except for that, the background music has robbed both Sanjay Gandhi and Bhindranwala scenes where the tension could have created as a matter of course, not by inducing some unnecessary suspenseful music. Impact. We have a strong belief that despite shaky direction and feeble writing, Kangana's loud performance will give echo in coming years, and yes, it won't be excess to say that another national award is loading here. Altogether, Emergency is a bold attempt with decent honesty to manifest as a conventional Hindi film, and Kangana's performance is a delight to see in this acceptable attempt to recreate history on screen. Overall, we give 60% to Emergency and congratulate Kangana in advance for all the major awards on the way. Please support us by liking the video, and if you haven't subscribed the channel yet, you are probably never going to see us again. If you are, then you are welcome to the Cinema family. See you soon.